Hi friends, it's Julia. I wanted to come today and show you the layouts that I created on National Scrapbook Day weekend, or National Scrapbook Day, which extended to the whole weekend for me. I was off this weekend and spent all of Saturday, well, most of Saturday and most of today scrapbooking, and this is what I created. There were all kinds of online crops to take part in, and I went to one. Memories in Time hosted a crop, and I went there, and that's where I completed, I think, all but one of the challenges. Anyway, the first challenge was to use a birthday cake on a layout or a card or a project, and so I did. I got one of my stamp sets out that had a cake in it. I stamped the cake and then fussy cut around it, and then the background papers and cardstock are ones that I had pulled for the month of November, the November 2014 kit that I've been working with this weekend. Those are from there, as are the ribbons here and here. I stamped the inside with the birthday sentiment and stamped the envelopes for both of those. Okay, the second challenge was also from Memories. Well, all of these are Memories in Time. So this layout is one that I created. I think it was to be inspired by the layout that they showed. The layout, the original layout, had lots of banners going this way and that way, and so I kind of did my own thing, but kind of followed suit a little bit. Like the overall background paper here with this border here, I copied, and then put some banners up here I copied. The rest of it is pretty much my own design. And so I used a piece of ribbon from my November 2014 kit that I'm using currently. The rest of it came from the Chantilly Close to My Heart kit that I added, that I was working on for this crop this weekend. I just wanted to pull out a kit that had lots of bright colors, just really fun colors to work with. Anyway, so this is what I created for the second challenge. The third challenge is one that they wanted you to use a bicycle. So I went into my stash of stamps and found a bicycle image, and it had all of these additional images as well. And so I pulled that out and created this card, but before I did that, I went online to Pinterest and found an image of this stamp set that I wanted to recreate. And so the original artist was Arlene's Creative Space, Arlene B, from 6/15/2011. And so I just basically copied what she did, with a few exceptions. She added in a few more stamps. This green border here, she also repeated at the top. And that was pretty close to it. I mean, I added in a piece of cardstock behind it, and then added the bling in as well. Her original design did not have that. I stamped my envelope, and on the inside I did the same stamping pattern, and I also used a Stampin' Up sentiment for the inside, sending good thoughts your way, and I did the same for both cards. And so that was layout number, or challenge number 3. For challenge number 4, it was to recreate a layout that they showed, and their original concept had a lot this background paper going behind the photos, but then it had a ginormous heart, and I think the photos were smaller too. And so I kind of did my own thing. I didn't really like the heart per se, so I used a flourish that I had added into my November kit. And then some of these embellishments are also from the November kit, but the paper I pulled from Dotty for You. All 4 of these papers, the green polka dot, the gray polka dot, this flourished green and blue, and then the stripe, those were all from Dotty for You. It's an older, Close to My Heart pattern paper. And so I cut the flourish in half and used a piece on top and bottom. I had the doily laying on my desk, so I just cut it in half again, used on the top and the bottom. I added in a sticker border from my November kit, and also the ribbon and the gold washi tape were from my November kit. The bling, the chipboard, these little floral pieces, the butterfly, the stickers, all of this, and then the stamp as well, all from my November 2014 kit. And that was challenge number 4. Challenge number 5 was to do a watercolor background. Guys, I'm not mixed media, just not. But I gave it a shot. I used a piece of watercolor paper and I put some gesso down, and then I did the green and blue background, and then I stamped this blue tree limb, or blue, that's awesome, the brown tree limb, and added some chipboard flowers along with some black bling in the center. Added a chipboard piece here, cut the entire image down, put it on some cardstock, and then put it onto a card base, and then stamped the inside for a sympathy sentiment. Added in some basic gray tape here. This was the precursor to washi tape, and it's just paper tape, and I believe it was basic gray. And that was challenge number 5. Challenge number 6, also from that same website and the same Facebook group, was to copy their design. As far as it wasn't a sketch, I don't think. Anyway, it showed the image here, and then it had the border across here, and then it had the photos in somewhat similar manner. And so I just did my own thing. I created this, you know, this diagonal piece here that they had, and then I kind of mimicked that and mirrored it down here in this corner. I added in my title here, and I used 2 different cardstocks. I used the Twilight and the Lagoon cardstocks, and used my old Quick Cuts alphabet die here. It's called Chocolate, and I cut out 2 of each letter for the title, and then I layered them to give it a shadowed look, and then put the white dots on it to give some extra texture. Added in some brads up here, the chipboard pieces from my November kit, and also these down here from the November kit. This was actually where it says Happy Days, Treasured Friends, and that was all part of a border strip, and I just cut it in half, cut one of the words out, and then just used a little bit here and a little bit there. With the same white Jelly Roll pen that I put the dots on, I did the journaling with here. And so that was challenge number 6. Excuse me. Challenge number 7 was to use the same color scheme as what they did. And so the color scheme was based on the Calypso collection from the newest seasonal expressions catalog, and I believe it used Lagoon, the colors from Close to My Heart colors, Lagoon, Pear, Cotton Candy, Honey, and Black. There were 5 different colors, and so I just incorporated that into this page by using the Chantilly as well as the Dotty for You paper, and then some embellishments that I had in my November kit. This flower, and this acetate piece, these tags, and these tags were all from the November kit, and then as was the butterfly. And then these pieces, the flowers, the chipboard, these brad looking things, the gems, those were all from the Dotty for You, or I'm sorry, the Chantilly paper kit that I pulled out. But that's that one. The last challenge that I completed for them, and I want to say it was challenge number 8. Well, it wasn't the last challenge. I used a couple of my others. It was to build a pocket page card with the sketch that they provided. I didn't do a pocket page card, I just did a small little card, and so I used one of the chipboard pieces from Chantilly as well as the background papers and cardstocks. I put some little staples in here and here, layered up my chipboard pieces there, and then stamped on the inside, and actually that was handwritten there, and stamped the envelope as well. Then This is for a challenge at the Sketches in Time blog, sketch number 197. It was for May 1 to 7. And I had seen Sarah Swan do the same layout, and so I wanted to recreate that layout, and I did, using my own stuff and doing my own thing. So everything is from the kit that I pulled together, the November kit that I pulled out to use, and just added some rub-ons that did very... Okay, so there's that one. Next up is a layout that I created. I'm building a scrapbook album of 8.5 by 11 layouts that will be used for a Christmas album in December, and so I'll spend the year creating layouts, or I may just continue to work with this kit until I finish these layouts. I'm going to make 20 for the album, and then I'll add pictures when I get to December. And so what I typically do when I'm doing this is I go through my stash and I pull out like all of my cream color cardstock that fits into a standardized, what I say, picture mat or photo image. And so I cut it all down to sizes that I know that will be easy for me to use as. I'll either cut the photo to 3 3/4 by 5 1/2, or I will cut it to 3 1/2 by 5 1/4 so that it'll be double matted here. But a lot of times I will either take the photo mat up and just trash it, or I will add the photo right on top of it. But I have all of these set to the side and already cut, and so I go through just whatever I have in my stash and use that. Sometimes I use white cardstock in place. It just kind of depends. The feel of this is more cream based, so that's the direction I went. Anywho, so I cut this down. I cut this pattern paper down, did some stamping. The original sketch was a page map sketch, and it's here. And it looks like there's sewn circles there. And instead of sewing, I just used one of the stamps that I have pulled for the kit and created a image all the way down. And it's this one with these circles here. And so I stamped all the way down the side of the paper, and I used a border punch to punch out on each edge of this pattern paper. I also used some of the Mondovia chipboard elements from SCI that I have in my kit, and then the rest of the stickers are, and bling and everything is from my November kit. The next layout I created was using this sketch, and I followed it to some degree. This is what I created with it. This is that basic gray paper tape that I added into my kit, as well as another ribbon. I'm trying to use, I have all of this ribbon built up that I pulled into this kit, and so I'm trying to use it as I go along so that I can use that and not have to worry about putting it back into my stash. I used some of the 4x6 papers that was in my November kit, cut them down as photo borders as well as behind their borders. Everything is from my November kit that I'm using on these layouts. I didn't pull from my stash for any of these. Next layout is here, was this one from June 2009. And so I just followed along the same process. And what I did here was the same paper tape from Basic Gray. I just cut it in half because it was the same on both sides. It had that double scalloped. It looked originally like that. And so I cut it in half, and I used a piece of it here and a piece of it here. And then just went along and added brads down the side. I'm determined that's another thing that I'm going to use more of, try to get used up out of my stash too, is brads, because I have tons of them. You use some My Mind's Eye brads here. This is a gemstone enamel dot, an old chipboard piece, a wood veneer piece that I used my my brown ink dauber just to color that. There's a sticker that I stamped Lovely on and added in a green butterfly. And this is the same paper from this other one. You can see as I go along, I continue to use the paper scraps one page to the next, to the next, to the next. The next layout I created was starting with this sketch. And so I created this one, and I started, these were all of these words and this were from one sticker sheet, and I want to say 7 Gypsies maybe. I don't know, but it's one that's been in my stash forever, and I've had multiple of that same sticker, and so I used it here. This is an old SCI paper, and it was actually 4x6 papers, and you can see there it was 2 4x6, and I just cut it to fit this, and then added in some wood veneer pieces from my kit, as well as some black bling along there, and I colored those as well as the leaf here with brown ink. Added in some more of the paper tape behind here, and then added another ribbon here. And the journal, or I'm sorry, the mat for this photo was also a 4x6 scrap. This one originally was from this layout, and it shows stitching along here and here, which I did not mimic, but I did, instead of stitching circles, I again used my stamp and created some circles here and here. Used some rub-ons as well as some black bling and some blue candy dots around each of those images. Used some more ribbon. This was another instance of having the 4x6 paper scraps in my kit. I just layered them up behind here to create a background for this. More photo mats there, and added some stickers. And I did not take all the tape off behind there, so that when I slide the photos in, they won't, I won't be able to get the stickers up. You know what I mean? The next layout that I created was from this sketch, and so what I did was I started with a piece of vellum that I used a border punch on down both sides of it, and it's kind of a matte gold finish, splotchy finish on the vellum. Anyway, added stickers. The gemstones are from Paper Studio. This is a really old sticker here. This is a canvas sticker that I had in there, and I just colored it brown. Another one of those cork frames that I added a sticker to the inside, and I called that one done. This layout, I started with this sketch from Page Maps, and you can see most of these I follow along fairly closely with the sketches, only because it saves me time. I don't have to think around it. Used washi tape here. This is one of my coveted chatterbox papers that I've been hoarding. These are both scraps. Used the large title alphabet that I had, all stickers. Used some brads, and then I have these chipboard pieces that I colored with a dark brown fingered or ink dauber, but they actually, I guess the dark brown had a green undertone, so they came out green. Added a rub-on here. This is from a punch-out piece, and so I just put some foam adhesive behind it to kind of mimic this one, which was already like that, and added this sticker on top of it to mimic those hearts there, and call that one done. The next sketch is from, or the next layout is from this sketch, and so what I did was I took some of, and that's going to have to be glued down, I think, with something a little sturdier than the adhesive that's on it. Just cut the papers down to mimic the sketch, added in some photo mats. It originally called for 1 photo mat, you can see here, but instead I added 2. Added some place to do some journaling, added in these chipboard pieces, added some bling to the tops of them, some candy dots. This is one of those paper clips that I added in my kit. It was kind of like this, and I just basically ripped the back of it off, which that one came off fairly easily. This one's not coming off so easy. This one may take a little bit more work to get that off. But anyway, use 3 brads right here. Use some of the burlappy type ribbon that was in the kit, and it's this one. And I just cut a piece down and put it behind there, and then use some gold washi tape over the top of that. Pop these chipboard pieces up on a little adhesive I put the adhesive at the top here and at the bottom here to kind of go over this bumpy fabric in the middle. And that's it. That's what I created this weekend. And so if you created something over the weekend, I would love to see it. So leave your link in the comment to whatever your blog or your YouTube is where you created stuff for National Scrapbook Day, and I would love to come visit. Anyway, I hope I inspired somebody to get into their stash and do some creating. Anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.